Hello, Rebel fans, and welcome back to the next episode of Foul Language. I'm your host, Superfed TV, and joining me today is the hardest working streamer in the Rebel. It's UnholyKrusader. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. Thank you for having me. Wouldn't say the hardest working streamer, but you know.
Well, you know, you've got the Altdorf Bank instant replay, and I would say you probably stream more games than anybody else. So, as far as I'm concerned, that's hard work.
It's all fun, so.
Yeah, perfect. Well, why don't we start by you telling everybody kind of who you are, what got you into Blood Bowl, how long you've been playing Blood Bowl, and that Blood Bowl background that you've got.
Yeah, sure. So obviously, UnholyKrusader. The name's Nathan. How'd I get into Blood Bowl? Well, a bunch of mates and I was sitting around one day, and the older brother had left home, and we were just digging through some of the random boxes that he'd left behind, and found Blood Bowl. I was like, what the hell's this? So we opened it up, we read the rules, we played a couple of games, probably interpreted the rules incredibly wrong at the time. And that was more or less how we sort of started playing. And then we found some other people who were keen to join in and started our own little group that played fairly regularly.
How many eons ago was that?
That would be late 90s.
Oh, wow. You have been familiar with this game for a long time.
Yeah, I've played Blood Bowl for a while. There's also been periods of time where it's just been I haven't played it like as consistently, so there'd be a couple of years here and there where I'd either moved around and didn't have friends who wanted to play it, or I just sort of put it on the shelf. But it's always been one of my favorite games, probably my favorite tabletop game. So. That's
cool. Yeah. It's probably also why you have been playing it for so long, is you get breaks. You don't
have too much of a good thing, right?
Toxicity buildup.
You got to detox from time to time.
Yeah, exactly. And then what brought you into Blood Bowl 2 and Blood Bowl 1? I mean, was it just, were you playing Blood Bowl 1 at all, or Fumble?
So Blood Bowl 1, I sort of picked up relatively late into its cycle. Didn't really play it. I didn't play online, just had a couple of mates that would occasionally play hot seat games. And then again, I sort of put it down, and it wasn't until Blood Bowl, the 2016 release, that I picked up Blood Bowl 2 because it had the discount code, which coincidentally stacked with the Steam sale. So I got Blood Bowl 2 for like $5.
Nice.
And that's more or less where I started to play Blood Bowl again on a regular basis.
And how did you find your way to the Rebel?
I don't even remember how, to be honest. I legitimately don't even remember how. I think I did like it was like looking at the r/Blood Bowl, and then there was a recruitment post for season 5.
Okay.
So
wow,
yeah,
you started at the same time I did. That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how I found the Rebel.
Right on. Perfect. Well, what was your first team, or more importantly, your first love when it comes to Blood Bowl?
Wood Elves.
What else?
That's how I learned the game. It's what I played. It even got to a point where I just couldn't play the bash teams. I played that much Elves. I was just like, okay.
Yeah.
I just couldn't work out in my own. I couldn't work out in my own mind how the bash teams were supposed to play. Aside from like, I base up and I punch you, and I think to say that, that's what people say is how it plays out. But I think that's a bit disingenuous.
Mm-hmm.
And the bash teams are a little more nuanced than that. So. Right,
the control side of the game.
Yeah. Whereas I'd been playing with Wood Elves for so long, it was just like I passed the ball because I'm a big I learned to use the passing plays, and was a big fan of that. So. It was always agility 4 does agility 4 things, and it's pretty good.
Yeah. Nice. What drew you to Wood Elves in particular, other than just the passing? Was the movement something that you also, or was it just, is there any aesthetic that the Wood Elves brought that you were into, or did you know like Warhammer background as well? Because Wood Elves were actually the only tabletop I guess, pieces that I bought. I have some Wood Elf Rangers.
Yeah, right. There was no specific reason. I could just have easily ended up playing, High Elves or Dark Elves. It was just flipping through the book, and basically where I stopped is where I stopped.
Nice. Okay, that works. What's your favorite player? I guess I could pretty much infer if you play Wood Elves, your favorite player is probably a Lord Answered, but now that you've played some other teams, maybe.
Wood Answers are fun. Still probably going to be my favorite player, though. I've just started playing Kislev last season. I really enjoying that. And the blitzes on Kislev I really, really love. Gutter runners. Everybody loves a gutter runner. Well,
sure.
Loves to hate or either way. But Wood Answer's probably still my favorite player.
Nice. All right, let's take our first question from the lovely coaches at home that submitted on the Reddit post. And for those of you that are not familiar with the format, that's how it's going to be every week going forward. You're going to know who the guest is going to be in advance, and you guys can get your questions in there. So the top popular question from Squiggy is, if you could add any new team to the game, what would they be? What would be their niche, and why?
Can we add Slan with a 40k dirty player lineman? Is that an option?
So an improved Kislev?
No, improved. Yeah. Well, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say like not Slan, Slanesh. Sorry.
Oh, Slanesh. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Slanesh. Yeah. It's there was a Slanesh fan roster that someone wrote up that had 40k linemen with a human stat line, and they all started dirty player. But as far as what I would like to add, I don't honestly know. I don't really think that too much into it, to be honest. Maybe some sort of Cathay team, like a Chinese sort of Japanese themed team.
That'd be cool. What would their niche kind of be on the pitch, do you think? Is there a skill set that you can see going with them, like a shadowing team?
Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea. As I said, I don't really think about these things, but make it like a team of ninjas. That
would be pretty cool, actually. I kind of like that idea. Our next question comes from Chaos Sabulu. He wants to know, who are your favorite content creators, or what kind of work inspires you? You do a lot of content creation yourself, but Chaos Sabulu is curious what kinds of things you like.
Everyone in the Rebel who creates content, it's going to be the cliche sort of, I love everyone's work, but I do love everyone's work. Different content creators I like for different reasons. As far as whose work inspires me the most, I mean, Haringzord and his hype videos really sort of get me to sit there and want to do a bit more with the free camera in Blood Bowl 2, which Cyanide you've really stuffed up, let's be honest. Your little advertising ditties that you do for the Rebel Alliance.
Oh, those are fun.
They're good fun. And if I'm looking to make more sort of instant replay sponsors, it's something that I'll draw inspiration from. But there's no one content creator who I really like above all others, because it's the Rebel community, right? There's all these people who are making content, putting in hard time and effort for a little more than just because I want to.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody has their own style, and everybody does what they do, and that's basically how I feel about it. I don't have a favorite. Everyone is equally as good in my eyes for different reasons.
Yeah, that's fair. And have you thought about any rules or skills that you would change?
Yeah, I think everybody does from time to time. Specifically, though, what would I change specifically? I don't know. Sneaky Git probably needs a reason to take it. Just little niche skills like that. As far as rules, I hate the overtime format, and I hate penalty kicks.
Oh,
So
yeah.
if I could change those, I would. I don't know how you. The thing is, it's like it's easy to say I don't like
You don't
it.
like it, right.
But it's also hard to come up with a fix that's better.
Mm-hmm.
So,
especially with overtime, because you got to have a winner
yeah.
at some point.
Yeah, exactly right. Like you can't drag it on forever. But penalty kicks just feels like such a cheap way to win the game or lose the game. You just get sucked out that way. It just it does not feel right at all.
Yeah, the best one that I've heard is, and I'm sure you've heard this before too, is making the kick or the coin toss matter a bit more. And so you say maybe something like the defender gets a blitz, or a perfect D, some kind of favorable result on the kickoff. But if the offense doesn't score, then the defense wins or something like that. Some kind of forced victory condition. Basically, so there's stakes for both teams. Because by default,
I've heard that.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say, I've heard that a lot, and I don't feel 100% with that either. I don't feel like giving someone the win for just, in that scenario is the right way to go about it. But, I mean, what's better?
Right.
I haven't got anything that's better.
Right. Well,
I'll fully admit that.
The coin toss is already, I mean, some people, not me, but some people think that winning the coin toss means that you win the overtime, and that
that's not strictly true.
Yeah, there's definitely an advantage to be had of being able to return the ball, but you can certainly stop a drive, and if you couldn't stop a drive, then overtime wasn't going to be the thing that changes it for you either.
Yeah, it's very true. Like if you can't stop your opponent from scoring, then it's not looking like you'll win the game. But I mean, what's to say? It just doesn't feel like a fair result, given that I don't think it accurately represents the state of the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you could. The reason your opponent might not score is because you've beaten them down to like 4 players, but you've failed to pick up the ball every time you've gone for it.
Right.
So it'd be it's just I don't know. It feels arbitrary in a lot of ways, but at the same time, I can understand why people would think it's a better solution.
Right.
I don't like it, but I don't have a better one.
Yeah, exactly. Our next question from Reddit comes from Kalisti Maya, and he would like to know, what are the biggest and most unique challenges of being a Big O admin and caster?
Being a Big O admin and caster. I guess the obvious one would be to sort of draw the line at where being honest and truthful about how a game is going, and avoiding just being a dick. I think is probably one of the biggest ones, because not only at this point in time, not only am I an admin, I need to set a good example. And if you have admins break the "don't be a dick" rule, then why have that rule, right?
Sure.
But at the same time, it's like there's a bunch of like Div 4A and Div 4B. You've got a bunch of fairly fresh people in there. If I'm there berating every little thing they do, just seemingly, without reason or cause, and not explaining myself, then how does that make them feel, sort of thing?
It's definitely a razor fine line. I mean, Lord knows I cross it. It's actually funny. Yeah, even in the chat today, Moniker, who's a well-respected coach in Rel 4, was talking about how his very first game in the REL, he just got the crap kicked out of him, and he didn't even care about the game as much as he cared about Trunkhead and I ripping on him on our on the cast, and but he acknowledged that because it bothered him so much and he was so embarrassed by it, he really developed his play, and he took our criticisms very seriously into heart. And so on one hand, I feel bad about laying into the guy because it bothered him so much, but at the other hand, I mean, it made him a better coach, and personally, that's my goal whenever I'm giving feedback to somebody, or if I'm commenting on somebody's game. I do want them to improve.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
but at the end of the day, you have to call a spade, right? If you play like a potato, then you're going to be called out for playing like a potato. I'm sorry, there's just no, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Right.
but there's a difference between I like to say I'm an ass, but I'm not an asshole.
Exactly. Well, and I mean, playful teasing, ribbing of mates on the pitch. I mean, anytime there's sports or just it seems like the culture of gaming in general to an extent. There's obviously toxicity levels, but the internet. But I think it is worthy to know, where the line is, and it's different for other people. But yeah, I think you do a better job of it than I do. That's for sure.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like you sort of sit there and go, how would I want people to? It's like do unto others what you want them to do to you, sort of thing, right? Like,
yeah.
If you want people to be fair and balanced in how they discuss you, then be fair and balanced. But don't be afraid to say that something is, the incorrect play when it is the incorrect play.
And for me, it's always, I dish it because I can take it. And if you...
Yeah, exactly right.
If you want to have a go at me about my bad play, believe me, that's exactly how I got better and how I want to get better. And I would love people to give me feedback on my bad plays.
No, absolutely.
So that's... that's just my kind of go-to on it, but it's very much like yours as well of do unto others. So right there with you. That's a good question, Khaleesi. He also has another one of it is the finals of the Rebel or Super Bowl or Superb Owl, whatever we want to call it this week.
The non-copyright infringing.
Yes. If you are casting your dream matchup, who are the team coaches that are playing in that and why? So basically, what's your dream Superb Owl that you would be casting?
Okay, it's just easy. We'll have Natalie Dormer ones, and we'll go Summer Glau playing. I guess Norse. I guess.
Okay. I can see that. I can see why you'd be interested in that. The post-game interviews alone would be certainly worth your time.
Yeah, exactly. As far as actual coaches from the Rebel, who would I like to see in the finals? There's so many like great coaches and like classic grudge matches and things like that. Like I'd be a huge fan to see Morka with White Line actually being alive again, taking on Sand Dune Shadow Hill Cowboys. Just because I had so much fun casting that match a couple of seasons ago in the Big O, and it was just phenomenal.
I've been sharing that match recently with some other leagues, and they genuinely did not believe me when I said turn 14. 2-0.
So there's iconic matches like Papanati plays metal would be interesting.
Yeah, that would be good.
There's just so many. It's another case of like picking one of 100 different games. Like I could give a different answer on any given day for this one. Yeah,
that's fair. Very fair.
But yeah, Natalie Dormer, Summer Glau. I'd be down for that.
See, I'd go Natalie Portman, Keira Knightley.
And Keira Knightley. Yes, that's another good one.
Because they also played, body doubles for each other in Star Wars. So
yeah. See, look, it all works.
They're a good mirror match, and they would both be playing. Probably high elves would be my guess against each other.
Yeah. Exact same list.
Yeah. I can see it. All right, let's move on to and this one was kind of our answer to that. So the next one was what's a team or coach that really impressed you? But obviously it sounds like Sand Dune Morka. Is there a coach whose play style that you try to emulate or someone that you've learned a lot from?
In terms of like Kislev, there is really, there's Swag Tusk and I are the only ones in the Big O playing Kislev at the moment. I know Arch is rocking Kislev in the World Cup qualifier, so much respect there. But I don't honestly know too many other people who are playing Kislev. It's sort of going it and just experimenting on my own. I mean, there's obviously the community knowledge. I mean, Sage put out a video explaining how he'd built Kislev and things like that. So it's been a little bit difficult to sort of look for one particular play style of Kislev and try and emulate it because there's just not much information out there in terms of you know, the Kislev or the Slan in league play, because it just doesn't seem like they're a big choice. So it's a little hard to say that way. As far as Wood Elves are concerned, like, if I was going to sit down and pick a coach or two who I would like to try and emulate, I mean, Squiggy and Morka, just they play Wood Elves in a way that just complete understanding of how the team works. Like, Squiggy goes aggressive as he can. He's off, you know, his defensive drive is often, you know, I say this about my Kislev team, the defensive drive is just an offensive drive where you didn't start with the ball.
I imagine, and those are two good examples. So with Squiggy, I imagine, you know, the beautiful mind chalkboard with like equations that I don't understand and never would or never will. And then with Morka, it's hold my beer. I see that ball. I'm going to go get that ball.
Yeah.
And you just sit back and watch as, you know, he goes and gets the ball.
And
both
clicks on it and goes, done.
Perfectly valid ways to play Wood Elves. So it's good to have a bit of both. Absolutely. Yeah, that's
like Squiggy's defensive drives are just incredible, and Morka's just ability to go, whatever.
Yeah.
I want this ball. I'm going to get this ball. It's just beautiful to watch.
Yeah. Phil is awfully cool or philosophical.
Philosophical.
Yes.
Yeah.
He would like to know what is your worst experience at a Games Workshop? It's GW. And wow, I totally just read that wrong. At a Games Workshop store or tabletop store ever.
Ever? Oh man, there's so many stories about Games Workshop stores. I feel kind of bad because as I've had good times in GW stores and like tabletop stores in general, just gaming stores in general. But there are, for every good one, there's like 2 or 3 experiences where it's like, oh man, that was just not cool. As far as worst goes, I was there with a friend of mine. My friend had one of the Warlord Titans. He'd spent God knows how much money on it, painted it perfectly. And we were playing a game, I think it was Apocalypse, in the GW store. And, you know, he's ducked off to the pub next door to go to the bathroom. So here I am basically being responsible for his stuff, you know. And some 12-year-old kid comes in and knocks the Warlord Titan off the top of the table and then smashes on the floor.
Oh, no.
So that was pretty, I mean, resin, so it snaps pretty cleanly. But even then, I was just like, the kid didn't even say sorry. He just looked at it and then like walked off. It was just like, okay.
Oh, jeez.
So my mate comes back and he's livid. And dude, the kid just knocked it off, man. I couldn't do anything about it.
Oh, that's terrible.
So that was pretty bad. And then there was the other time. So Games Workshop, famous for its high turnover rate when it comes to staff. One of the guys, there's a guy I know who was managing it, and a friend of mine, we were in there, we were looking around, and the managers made the joke of, oh yeah, you better buy something, or I won't hit my KPIs. Literally a week later, we see him at the pub, ask him how he's going, and he's going, oh yeah, I got fired because I didn't hit my KPIs.
Oh jeez.
So he's like, you should buy an army book so I don't get fired. And we're like, no, that's all right, you won't get fired. So we're like, holy crap.
Jeez. That's like I said, I went there a couple times as a kid. Everything looked cool. I never was gonna buy a bunch of miniatures. It was always too much for me.
Yeah. I mean, that and the gamer funk that's in there, like, it almost seems like every Games Workshop I've ever been into.
Yeah.
It's just like people don't know what basic hygiene is. So
well, and I live in Seattle, so we had, you know, Wizards of the Coast and all that.
Yeah.
So there's, you know, I was used to the scene. But yeah, those ones could be pretty crummy too. Yansmir would like to know why all the chorf hate on your streams. And Bush would like to know why all the orc hate on your streams.
I mean, really? So this is it. I don't hate orcs. In fact, I quite like orcs. If there's a new player, I tell them, play orcs. They're forgiving. They get access to most of the relevant skills. You'll have a good time. Things very rarely will just explode. You'll be fine. Dwarves and shorfs, on the other hand, man, just no. Just no. I hate dwarves with a passion, and shorfs aren't much better. They get a bit of a pass because they've got bull centaurs and hobgoblins. But yeah, it's not orcs that I hate. It's the entitled orc coaches are like, oh, I've only got armor 9. How come I don't get like agility 4? No. How come I'm only movement 5 and 6? Oh, it's not fair. Says the armor 9 orc coach.
I'd like some claw, please.
Yeah, please, sir. Can I have some claw?
Yeah.
Nah, XS and I have been joking about it on my stream for a bit. Like, as I said, I don't hate orcs. I actually quite like the team. I think they're one of the better designed teams. Funnily enough,
I think everyone should play dwarves just for 20, 50 games, something like that, just to get a real.
I couldn't do it.
Just to get a real sense of the movement,
soul-crushing nature
and
of the
positioning.
Team. I don't think dwarves are designed well. And it passes, like, it inherently goes across to the Chaos Dwarves, just with their blockers. It's just, oh man, I've hated dwarves since I started playing Warhammer Fantasy, before I was playing Blood Bowl. It was like, you go to a tournament, you run against the dwarf army, you knew that game was going to be a tie at absolute best. Because they'd sit in their own corner and they'd shoot you with a million guns, and you go, all right, whatever, sit in my corner where you can't hit me, and we'll just sit here for 6 turns each.
Sounds about right.
It feels the same way with dwarves. It's just I don't think they're well designed. That's my personal opinion.
You just gotta know how to exploit their weaknesses, and the best way to learn that is by playing them.
If I could just delete them off the server, I'd be happy.
Let's see. Deez would like to know: have you ever traveled out of the country? And
I have.
What was the biggest culture shock for you?
I don't even know. I mean, like, Asia wasn't bad. Like, you don't have people who speak a lot of, like, English is not the primary language there.
Mm-hmm.
And, the first time I went to Asia, I was actually quite young. And my mum and dad were afraid I was going to get kidnapped because apparently there was this Chinese lady. Because I had blonde hair and blue eyes when I was a kid. So, you're in where were we? I think it was Kuala Lumpur. So you can imagine how rare that sort of combination is. And apparently there was this little old lady who would, I'd be in the pram and she'd play with me and then she'd run off. And like 2 seconds later, she'd be back and play with me some more. Mum and dad apparently thought I was going to get kidnapped. But New Zealand was weird, man. It was weird. Love the country, love the scenery. But the accent, for one, I cannot take the New Zealand accent seriously at all. It's just like, oh my god. It's just like, the sellotape. I mean, sticky tape, sellotape, sure. It's just little things like that. It's just like, okay, this is not home. It almost sounds like home, and it feels like home in a lot of ways. Because at the time, I was living in part of Australia, which was similar to New Zealand in like climate and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it felt like home. It looked like home, but then there'd be like someone would say something. And I'd be like, "What?"
Out of it.
Yeah, exactly right. It was just strange. I'm like, okay,
yeah.
So,
Hendis Maximus would like to know, why did you choose Unholy Crusader as your nickname or avatar? Where'd that come from?
Crusader was taken on Twitch. I'm pretty sure.
Okay,
that's it.
You've always been Crusader.
Yeah, it's been the one that's stuck around the longest. Like, you know how you have various different like gamer tags, I guess is probably
right.
the but yeah, it's the one that I had Crusader for a while. But yeah, it was taken on Twitch, I think. Or it might have been the PlayStation Network. It was taken on that when I first got my PS4, and then I was just like, oh, whatever.
Sure.
Yeah. People have asked this before, and I'm like, there's no grand story behind it. There's no, it's not really anything behind it. So, I like history. I like the Crusades. I don't know how old I was, so I stuck a K on there because that was the cool thing to do. And yeah, that's it.
Nice. I like it. ArchXL with one of the more serious questions. Would you rather have one team bull centaur sized snotling or 11 snotling sized bull centaurs?
Wait, so one
bull centaur
one bull centaur sized snotling or 11 snotling sized bull centaurs? Mm-hmm. I mean, a bull centaur is what? It's 6, 4, 2, and 9. Do I want 11 of those, but they're snotling sized? Or do I want a giant snotling?
I imagine the giant snotling would be like strength 4 because that's the bull, you know. Like so, a strength 4 snotling that's really slow and frail. Or
yeah, 11, I mean, what's the point of that though? Like, I mean, like,
or 11 strength, or 11 strength 2 bull centaurs. So there's strength 2 agi 2 bull centaurs with, you know,
oh, that's horrible.
Movement,
Neither,
right?
Neither at that point. if it was just like if it was a bull centaur stat line on a bull centaur that is the height of a snotling or a nobbler, I would probably take the 11 of those.
Well, of course, because you wouldn't want 11 black orcs with movement,
right? But I mean, I just can't ever see the use of a bull centaur sized snotling.
Yeah,
I don't even know what would you do with it.
Well, you'd throw it, of course.
Well, I mean, if it's that, like a bull centaur's bigger than me, so how am I throwing this thing?
With ogres.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess. But then again, maybe like 11. See, like it'd be easy to feed 11 bull centaurs that are the size of snotlings because they wouldn't eat much.
Maybe
this is a very deep question.
Exactly.
It has many variables that we need to consider here.
Too deep for me.
My gut feeling says I will take the 11 snotling-sized bull centaurs. Just put a piece of wood over the top of them and use them as a palanquin.
There you go. Captain Deuce has a question that's going to tie into one of mine a little bit later. Do you think you will always be a member of this community? Do you think this community has a ceiling for growth considering the medium? Other than Cornate team, what team do you wish to be added to the game?
Sure. Will I always be part of the community? I don't see why not. I mean, unless I get married and Lady Crusader decides to like leave me, unless I, stop doing internet stuff, which she won't. She's very supportive. But yeah, no, I don't see myself not being a member of the community. I've said before, like, despite the fact that I like streaming and playing different games, I will always find time for the Rebel and Blood Bowl content on my stream.
Yeah.
Partially because I love the game, and partially because if it wasn't for the Rebel, I wouldn't have a stream in the first place. So there's that loyalty there, I guess.
Yeah, I think the community's embraced you kind of wholeheartedly.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. I don't know why. It's a dumpster fire of a stream.
But it's our dumpster fire.
Yeah, exactly right. It's exactly right. So yeah, I don't see myself going anywhere anytime soon. It'd be something catastrophic would have to go on in my life for me to decide to quit the Rebel, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
What was the second part of this?
Growth. So does the community have a ceiling for growth?
Yes was an if, no was a but.
Okay.
Not a great answer, is it? But like, okay. So do we have a ceiling for growth? I think yes, if things about the game, like if Cyanide doesn't try and like tweak the game, fix the bugs, make a Blood Bowl 3, which I don't sort of see them doing anyway. And it's also we will hit a ceiling if the people in the Rebel don't try and like support it and get new blood in, because without new blood, the whole community just collapses. Because who wants to sit there and play the same 3 guys every week?
Right.
Nobody wants to do that.
Right.
So that's very much like, no, we don't have a ceiling because people love the game. People love to share the game. They love, to get other people into the game. But, I mean, it's a hard game to get people who haven't played these style of games in before.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's kind of where my question goes is, have you brought anybody into the Rebel yourself? Like anyone you know in real life or any other gamer friends of yours?
Yeah, Darby's in the Rebel, but he already played Blood Bowl as a game already, so it wasn't exactly a hard sell.
Yeah.
And there's Aussie Viking, a mate of mine, Aaron, who's actually playing in the Rebrel this season, who has picked up the game and is playing in the Rebrel because he was like, I want to do this as well. So
very cool. I think
finding the right people to sell the game to is the important part.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I have got friends that, they don't have the patience or the, I don't know,
the nature for it. Yeah.
Yeah. Some people can't lose, right? Like any game, anytime, ever. And that's not a good attitude to have going into Blood Bowl, especially when it takes probably, I would say, at least 40 hours to just get a grasp on the game. And the whole time during that, if you're playing like actual live people, you're just going to keep.
Have you ever sat down and read the Living Rulebook?
Yeah.
Like if you just sat there and read the Living Rulebook, you would understand like the phases of the game, but you wouldn't understand how they interact and all that sort of stuff. Like,
right.
The rulebook does a good job of telling you how the game works, but not a good way of teaching you how to play the game. It's the same with the AI campaign in the game. It's just, you'll learn how to play the game, but you won't learn how to play the game.
Well, you'll think you're good. That was my problem. Like, I thought I was good.
Yeah, right, right.
And then I played real people and was like, oh, I am bad. This is horrible.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, it's you gotta find the right people for it.
Exactly.
But when it is in someone's wheelhouse, I think it does take a hold of them. And
well, as I said, I started playing late 90s, and we're in 2018, and I'm back to playing the game almost religiously again. So
yeah, exactly. Let me see if there's another good one here. We'll wrap it off.
They're all good ones, Superfed. They're all.
That's fair. Oh, I guess we have a streamer-based question that we can both talk about from Sleaze. So he would like to know what your setup is for streaming, mics, monitors, programs, what your general specs are.
Okay.
Those general streamer questions.
Sure. Well, it's pretty straightforward. I just gave PC Case Gear a load of money and they sent me a computer. But inside that computer, I've got the Intel i7 77K for my processor. 32 gig of DDR4 RAM, I'm pretty sure. Can't remember off the top of my head. I've got the NVIDIA GTX 1080 for my graphics card. For the M2 form SSD, because everybody needs an SSD.
Mm-hmm.
And that pretty much, as far as like my PC specs are concerned about it. I mean, the motherboard is the Aorus Z something or other, which I can't remember off the top of my head. But it's another one of those like quote unquote gaming boards. I use two 27-inch monitors because that's what'll fit on my desk, unfortunately.
Software wise, are you OBS?
OBS. Yeah, OBS. I tried XSplit for a while because I'd managed to. I can't remember. That's right. There was a subscription that came with it with my graphics card. They had a bit of a deal on there, so I tried that out for a bit, and it's good. It's good. It does a few things that OBS does, but better. But I mean, like OBS is free. So
it's free, it's familiar, you've got unlimited resources for it for other people that have anytime you're like, I want to do this. Yeah. And there's like, here's my 800 YouTube videos on how to do that thing that you want to do.
Exactly right.
That's super handy.
Yeah, OBS is a great piece of software. The
only
if you're gonna do it, get Studio though, don't get the other one.
Yeah. There is one other one. It's called Game Show, and it's again another one where you pay a license for it, but it's much more affordable than XSplit. But they one of their go-to things was that they actually made like the actual developers of the software have their own tutorial videos for just about everything you can imagine, and that was kind of impressive to me. And so I was willing to throw them a couple bucks for the license and I have it. I still use OBS because it's still just the default and I know how everything works. But if you're looking for something other than OBS, if you just don't like OBS for whatever reason, can't imagine why. But that would be one I would check out.
Aesthetics, I guess.
Yeah.
But like you've got Shadowplay for NVIDIA cards. You've got
that I don't like. It's got very
ATI have their own one as well. I can't remember what it was called.
Yeah.
Razer has their game capture software. Again, name escapes me. Elgato, if you have one of those, capture cards, has their own. So it's not like there's one piece of software that does it. And I'm sure there's other pieces of like freeware software like OBS that'll do it as well. But it's just that OBS is the one that I found the easiest to use. It's free, so that's a big bonus right there. And if I go and Google search, how do I do this? As you say, I'll find like 8,000 results telling me the same thing in various different ways. Like someone will explain it to you like you're a 5-year-old, and then you can break it down. You can go into greater detail and have like you have to have done like digital media design and television to understand it. But,
right.
Hey.
Yeah, it's good.
And so I started off with the Logitech C920 or whatever the hell it is, the webcam, which was nice. I eventually switched up to a Razer Kio, Razer products. I got a bunch of them, which is their webcam. It's got the light ring around the outside, and it's a nice webcam actually. As far as my microphone is concerned, it's a Razer Siren Pro. A friend of mine had the Siren, and I checked it out, and I was like, "Hey, this is all right. This is all right."
Nice.
The big thing for me on this one is it's got the XLR ports on it, and I do want to pick up an actual mixing board.
Oh yeah.
So that would let me connect into that, which is a big thing. Because probably one of the many jobs that I've done in my past is I was a radio presenter. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So you sort of learn a bit about audio there.
Yeah. The technical side of streaming can be daunting for many people, and the biggest frustration for others. Personally speaking, it was really what stopped me. I was streaming full-time, 6 hours a day for over 3 months straight, and I eventually hit some technical walls with my setup, and man, at that point I was just so burnt out that I literally stopped streaming because I'm like, it's going to be so much more effort. Like I'm going to have to spend 3-4 hours to try and fix something and then stream for another 6 hours after that. No, I'm good.
Yeah.
And it was
I completely get what you're saying.
Stop.
Yeah, and the other thing too is like, just gets back to the peripherals and shit that I've got in a minute. The other thing too is like, it's a big outlay. The microphone wasn't cheap. The computer wasn't cheap. I would have got a new computer anyway, but that's beside the point. Like the computer isn't cheap. The microphone was like $600 because we get shafted in Australia for shipping and everything like that. This stuff just isn't cheap to do. And then like there was during the playoffs, there was a couple of people who came into the stream and are like, streamers just doing it for the money. I'm like, fuck off, we are.
No,
like
exactly.
I can tell you right now, the amount of money that Twitch has paid me out has paid off the microphone. That's it.
Yeah. Oh, like, exactly. People see mid-level streamers thinking
oh yeah, I'm rolling in the dough. No,
like full-time salary jobs, and it's not even close.
Yeah. Anyone who starts streaming and goes, I'm going to make this a full-time job, is doing it wrong in the first place. You start streaming because you enjoy what you're playing, you enjoy and you want to help like either grow a community or showcase a game. You don't start streaming going, I'm going to make money out of this.
Well, let me put it this way. I've actually made more money by playing video games in tournaments than I have ever streamed.
Yeah, same. Yeah, no, absolutely same. 100%. 100%.
It's just crazy. It's definitely not for the money.
No, and like people who go, there seems to be this idea that if you get a webcam, a computer, and a microphone, you can sit there and turn it into a full-time job. There's going to be a streaming bubble, right? I guarantee it. If we're not already coming close to it, it'll happen, soon enough.
Yeah,
because not everybody can subscribe to everybody. Well, all these streamers.
I thought the affiliate program was kind of the sign that was coming. They finally realized, hey, we need to incentivize Joe Blow to start streaming because everyone's starting to catch on to the fact that they are not going to be millionaires overnight. And I think that there is probably a big dip in just the Joe Blow 100 or less viewer streams. And that's why they kind of brought out this affiliate program to incentivize and kind of dangle that carrot for people. Because that was decent, and that was a big shift because there was never anything like that from Twitch before.
Oh yeah, God no! Like if you looked up the requirements to make partner on Twitch, you used to find some information, but then there was nothing. It was like we look at it a case by case basis.
Yeah.
Okay, what does that mean? Like now there are defined goals. It gives people hope, and I have told this story a few times. When I was at PAX last year in Melbourne, walking past the Twitch booth, because it was basically at the front of the convention, I wanted to get across to one of the hardware vendors. There was a bunch of, like, it's got the partner area, so all the partners in Twitch who said they were going were hanging out on couches, drinking whatever they were drinking, having a chat with each other, basically just getting out of, away from like all the screaming fans, as it were. But at the front of the booth, you had all like the Twitch affiliates, and I was walking past, and one of them was handing out business cards and was introducing themselves as a professional streamer, and I wanted to turn around and laugh, and just tell them, no, you're not. You're not a professional streamer. like you could be the most professional person on your stream as an affiliate, but you're still not a professional streamer at that point.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. Like,
fake it till you make it.
Yeah, but well, I mean that plays into it, right? That plays into it, but it's just it's mind-boggling. People seem to think like getting affiliate status is like the be-all and end-all. It's like, well, I mean, it's cool.
It's a start.
And don't get me wrong. Yeah, exactly right. It's a step. Don't get me wrong. I'm grateful that I've been made an affiliate. But at the end of the day, I still know that in the terms of the pool, like, you're not a big fish in a small pool. You are a small fish in a very, very big pool.
And I can say behind the scenes, I mean, the golden age also passed back with YouTube.
Yeah, absolutely.
I actually made decent money. I made money, I should say, on my YouTube. I never broke 1,000 subscribers, trying to get back up there now, but I was partnered on YouTube for a long time, and I did make money there. And that is now no longer making money for just about anybody. Even the people that are partnered are talking about a greater than 50% reduction in their income, and it's just, that whole market is shifted so much so that there are very few people that are really truly on top of the world. So yeah, that if you're thinking of streaming, make sure you're not doing it for the money. Basically, is the point that
do it for the right reasons.
Exactly.
Do it for the right reasons, and the right reasons are to promote something that you love, to share your love, and just build a community.
Absolutely.
And if you do all that right, then everything else will fall into place. But don't go into it thinking you make millions of dollars, because you just won't.
Exactly. And have reasonable goals. Like the ones you listed are all good. Even just something attainable. So last thing I want to talk about is just what other games. I mean, you mentioned you play other things other than Blood Bowl, but you always kind of come back or play Blood Bowl along the way. But what kind of games interest you? I know you're running Stellaris, and actually where I kind of considered myself a big fan and a friend was where we just started playing Vermintide, and this was original Vermintide. Where I was like, wow, this is cool playing games with people that I play Blood Bowl with, but we're playing other games. This is fun. This is awesome. So
yeah, that's it's another big draw that the Rebel has. We have like 300-400 coaches, and in that 300-400 coaches, you have a bunch of people who play games. No surprise, and they're not necessarily Blood Bowl. Like, I've got a bunch of people who I can play Rainbow Six with, which I've said it numerous times. My favorite first-person shooter. There's nothing that comes close.
I think it's just the most watchable shooter game there is. Like, people talk about Battlegrounds or like PUBG kind of games. I would rather watch people play Rainbow Six all day. And I'm not good at that game, but I love watching people play it.
Yeah, no, I'm not great at it, but I just enjoy playing it because it's got a nice gameplay. I think the gameplay loop in it is really tight. I love it. PUBG I enjoy. Fortnite I dabble with from time to time, but I don't like it anywhere near as much as the other two. Stellaris, I prior to playing Stellaris again the other day, I'd literally had 30 minutes in the game. And then who was it? I think it was Tomo, Lark. I know XS was involved somehow, but essentially we played one game, and then in this, the next week I've got like 40 something hours in the game. I'm like, oh my god, what am I doing with my life? Why? Yeah. This is why I'm unemployed. What else? Like Crusader Kings 2, I've played a little bit of, and I want to get into it and learn more about it. I've decided that I'm now going to start learning how to play Hearts of Iron 4 because, like, well, why not?
Yeah, literally minutes before this started, we were talking about.
Yeah, right.
I think we all kind of have one of. I mean, obviously, if you've got the patience to learn Blood Bowl, and you're interested in those kind of strategy games, I think Paradox Games has some real winners. So Stellaris and Hearts of Iron.
They do once they have some DLC.
Yeah,
at the beginning, not so much. But yeah, strategy games in general, I will always play. Like Far Cry, another game I was playing on my stream recently. I've been really, really enjoying it. Despite all of its flaws, I still find myself having fun. The Diablos, love those. I'll play those from time to time. Old school Dungeon Keeper.
Oh yeah,
yeah, man. Before EA went and turned it mobile and just desecrated the corpse. Dungeon Keeper was one of my go-to games.
Nice.
But yeah, Dragon Ball Fighters. I haven't played that in a little bit just because I've been busy doing other stuff. But I've been meaning to pick that back up and play that more. I look at my Steam library. There's not a game in my Steam library that's currently installed that I don't play at some point.
Right. Yeah.
Like it's just, here's what it is.
Nice. Well, I think that wraps it up. Anything that you want to share with the community before I let you loose?
Not really. Just the community. You guys are amazing. I say it at the end of my stream all the time. Thank you very much to everyone who supports me on an ongoing basis, whether or not they're a follower or a subscriber or just come in and watch. You guys truly are one of the best communities I've been a part of, and I'm honored and happy to continue to be there. So keep being awesome.
Well, and I'm happy to say on behalf of the community, we are ever so grateful to have you as a reliable source of streaming and community. It's oftentimes, we have the Discord for finding out what's going on, but it's easy enough for me to just open up Twitch and check in at your channel and see what's happening, representing the Big O and getting the loop there, and even going back and watching some VODs if I'm planning on playing a Big O coach and seeing what your coverage of them has detailed and things like that. So, and there's so many members of the community that just are at home on your channel as well. The way you let people just drop in, I think, is really awesome. So we all appreciate it.
That's what I decided I wanted to do from day one. So that's how I'm going to roll it, until I either die or stop streaming because I don't know, can't talk, I guess.
Yep. Perfect. All right. Well, that is going to do it. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Feel free to go to Unholy Crusaders channel and give him a follow, give him a subscribe, give him a thumbs up. Tell him he's bad at Blood Bowl, but he's a good guy.
Like my channel. If you did not like my video, thumbs down my channel.
Right. I will also have a link down below the video here. But
cheers.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Crusader. Have a good night.
Thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely. And good night.